we're stronger together with Trump because he's fighting for you, the people, and me, all of us together as one family.
Welcome to Double Take, a second look at the headlines.
You just heard Rob Cortis of Livonia, Michigan. Cortis is the creator of the Trump Unity Bridge. He built the bridge in 2016 to support the campaign of Donald Trump, and he's continued to tour the country with his bridge to spread the message of Trump unity. Cortis's message of Trump unity has not always been welcome, but Cortis says he feels like he's on a mission from God. God, is that you? No response. But with Americans so bitterly divided, it's exciting to see someone who believes he can bridge the divide between left and right. But has Cortis already cracked the code to unlock common values and meaningful political action? Let's find out. The interview with Rob Cortis starts now.
You're watching Double Take TV.
Hey, how's it going? I'm Daryl. How are you? Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you, Rob. I'm just admiring your truck. This is a lot of work. Oh, yeah, it's a lot of work to maintain and keep up, too. Just like our country. We have to save our country. It takes a lot of work to do so. We all need to unite and work together and find people that won't lie, cheat, and steal so that we can all have a good life and a good future.
So tell me a little bit about yourself and how you started to become political. Is this something that you've always been drawn to?
Nope. I've always just learned to live and let live, enjoy life, and take care of my business and try to do things. And then when NAFTA hit, the whole world changed. NAFTA hit, everyone's saying, oh, it's wonderful. Oh, we're selling our company for millions. China's buying it. Russia's buying it. Germany's buying it. Everybody was having their company sold for big money. And all of America went down the tubes. Jobs went to Mexico. They went overseas. Nobody could have a job when we had the housing crunch market, right? So everybody lost their homes. They went into foreclosure. What happened was everything was fine in the suburbs. People of the city said, why should we buy a house in Detroit in the hood or in Chicago in the hood? We can go out and buy a suburban house and have nice property, swimming pool, better schools, and we can sell our drugs to the people. So that's how all these drugs, it's heroin and stuff. And the reason why I got came out to the suburbs and how I figured that out was I was in the catering business. And I've been catering since 1979. I catered, one funeral for a teenager or a college student every couple of years, all right, in the suburbs, one funeral. Well, after NAFTA kicked in, a year later, 2 years later, all of a sudden we're having like 10, 15, 20 funerals for young people dying of overdoses of drugs. So you look at it, how were they getting the drugs? The inner city people that lived in the city moved to the suburbs. They brought their drugs and said, hey, your girlfriend, hey, you gotta try this, do this with me. And they weren't doing it. They were not used to drugs and they were overdosing and dying. So that's part of how this happened. All right. So it kind of freaked me out when I figured that out. And then Trump made his announcement to run for office. And I met Trump personally in 2001. I lost my gold bracelet in Las Vegas. He found it, returned it to me, and then bought my whole, I was having a dinner party for my company, but paid for my bill for my whole company and bought it. They didn't even tell us. He just paid for it, walked over. When I went to pay the bill, they said, Mr. Trump took care of it. Wonderful guy. He was really nice at dinner and really cool. So then one day, the Pope comes out and says, Donald Trump needs to be building bridges, not walls. And didn't sit with me because churches and religion aren't supposed to be involved in politics because they could lose their nonprofit charity status, right? So I said, I've been in business my whole life, but the Pope's saying it. So I woke up the next day and said, you know what? I'm going to be the third Blues brother, Jay, Elwood, and Rob, and I'm going to put speakers on it. I'm going to have sound. I'm going to make, I drew a piece of paper, Trump, T-R-U-M-P. Then in between, I wrote one flag, one nation, one God, a little sign. Then I wrote, build the wall, America first, lock her up, all the slogans that were popular. Then we traveled 48 states on the mainland USA with hopes and dreams to make it to Alaska and Hawaii. Mm-hmm. We traveled over 500,000 miles. towing the bridge. We have 3 tow vehicles. We have a Suburban, a Yukon, a Ford ambulance.
See on your truck, you have a "Women for Trump" sticker right here. So, what would you like? In an environment like that, is obviously charged, and people have a certain view of Trump.
Well, everybody has different views, but what's happening is the media. Here's an example of why they call the media fake news. You brought up Women for Trump. They say women don't like Trump. Women are voting against Trump. Well, 67% of women prefer Trump, and they're doing pretty good with it. 90% of the women in the Republican Party support President Trump. All right. So there are a lot of women that support him. Some people say, I like what Trump's doing, but I don't like how he does it, how he set the way he talks. So, okay, fine. But he's getting the job done. The media only tells half the story, one side of the story.
What message would you want to be published? I think a lot of times I'm really interested in both sides of the story.
Okay.
And I think that a lot of times what happens is people don't really listen to one another.
Correct.
And so like there's never even a chance for discussion because it's like everyone wants to be heard, right? So like in order to listen to someone else's story, first you need to be able to listen to
That's why
another person.
What you're saying.
Yeah, exactly. And from that point, I want to hear kind of like what are kind of like the top 3 things? You've already mentioned a few things that are really important. The thing is,
let's all unite, let's communicate, let's find common ground, things that we can agree on, talk about them, and get them achieved and accomplished so that we can all move forward and have a better America. Okay, we have all the messages on this float. I did a survey for almost 6 months talking to people, what state you're from, where you're from. So I would have all 50 states included, and women, men, even from the Million Women's March.
Exactly.
I was trying to talk to them women. Well, what would you, it's fine, you don't like Trump, you don't like me. What would you tell the president to make America a better place? And then you'd get something out of them.
Exactly.
We want better education. Okay, good. So education's on the board. We want better roads. We want infrastructure. Okay, so infrastructure's on the road. We want religion. We want God in everybody's life. Well, we can say one flag, one nation, one God. There's one God. Everybody believes in God, but different religions believe in him different ways. So if you don't believe in God, let's show me the goodness of yourself and share it with other people. So that's what we're about. We're about talking to people.
Some of the things Trump says are very divisive. I think he makes some of the rhetoric he's had, commenting on certain groups or certain people. When he was on Twitter, he's funny. He's very.
He calls him pencil neck for Schumer.
Right.
Yeah. So I get.
So what I was going to ask is, it seems like he's going to run again after the midterms. He's probably going to announce that he's running again. Do you think it's in his best interest to have a change in tone to create unity?
Well, the biggest thing he did is he exposed the division in America. Right? If he wouldn't have been the president, we would have never have known it, and the media and everything, it would have went and made everything go smoothly to the Communist Party. If you look at the Communist Manifesto that was in the 60s, what was entered into the state legislature, read into the books, it's written down in their books.
Yeah,
everything they said. Eliminate the family values, create divorce, homosexuals, stop marriages, you know what I mean? Gays, all these different stuff, eliminate religion, so there's so many things on that list. If you look and read the list and you look what's happening in the country today, that's what the Clintons, the Bidens, the Obamas have been, the work, they're not saying they're doing it, but when you judge somebody you don't judge somebody by what they say they're going to do. You judge somebody by what they actually do. And what they've done was they've helped create, and we went to school, your mommy's going to have a baby and your daddy's going to be a father. You have a mom and a dad. Now it's now you have a transgender. They want drag queen bingo, drag queen book reading. And they're talking about male and female pronouns and nouns and all this stuff. It's a man and a woman. A boy has a penis and a girl has a vagina. It's as simple as that. If you are a different culture, it's not supposed to be taught in elementary school. You know what I mean? It's the facts of life. That's my opinion. Okay. I don't care if you're gay or not. I don't care if you're transgender or not, but I don't want to pay for it. You understand what I'm saying? I don't want to pay for your surgery or your problem, but I have Trump supporters that are transgenders that come and visit us. I have Trump supporters that are gay and Trump supporters that are lesbians. They're friends of mine, but they're not pushing their religion on me or their values or their culture on me. They're just, hey, how you doing? You know what I mean? Shaking hands, give me a hug.
Yeah.
And that's it. You know, and that's just live and let live. You know what I mean? And but they're trying to shove that down the throat to kids to train them to be certain ways. When I was in school, we learned all the things about religion and history. We had skilled trades. In junior high school, we had to take shop class, welding, woodworking, homemaking, auto, or jewelry. There were like 5 choices. And we learned how to make rings in class. We learned how to make jewelry boxes. When I was in 7th grade, I welded a go-kart. When I was done at the end of the school year, I drove my go-kart with my motor that I put on it out in the parking lot because I couldn't put the motor on it in the school because you can't have a motor in the school. So I had it all ready to go, and I bolted it on out in the parking lot and drove home on my go-kart.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
That I made in 7th grade.
Yeah.
I'm 13 years old. That's how old I was. Now they say, oh, you can't have that type of education in junior high school. You got to move it to the high school. Then a few years later, oh, you can't have that in high school. You need a vocational school. You need a separate school off campus. So now they don't even learn nothing. They learn a bunch of bullshit.
I think everybody is on the same page that education needs an overhaul.
Yeah, they just need to go back to the basics. If you have a school and you have 1,000 kids in it, some kids like photography, some kids like welding, some kids like auto shop, some kids like computers. So give them the variety, let everybody get a taste of things and see where they excel. And let them do what they do best. You know, what they're good at. That's how we were brought up.
What do you think about abortion?
I think that
is that kind of is that a right left issue, or is that more of a issue that's an individual values issue?
It's a values issue, but they're turning it into a political issue. And the bottom line is, Roe versus Wade has nothing to do with our Constitution. You think everybody came over on the Nina, the Pinta, and the Saint? Oh, women, we can all go to America to get free abortions. You know, was that what they were all coming to America for? No, right? Women do have choices. They can choose if they want to have sex with that guy, and that guy can choose if he wants to have sex with that girl. They can choose if they use a condom or he uses a condom. They can choose if she has takes a pill for the monthly pill, or if he takes some sort of a pill. So there's different choices they have, but once you create a baby, it turns into a human being. And I don't believe that they should have abortion unless it's rape or incest or some special, special reason like that. Not just, oh, I don't want to have a baby and the government pays for it.
How do we find you online, and what are like a few things you want people to kind of take away?
To find me online, you can go to robstrumpshop.com or trumpunitybridge.com, trumpunitybridge.com or robstrumpshop.com, and you can follow us. And then, or you just go to my Facebook page, Rob Cortis, ROBCORTIS. And I just like to let people know that we all need to get along, and we can work together. If we work together, we can make America a better place. And communication is the key to success. Let's all communicate, find some positive things that we can agree on and move forward on those. We got to stop looking at all the negative, because when you fix 5 or 6 positive things, all of a sudden, even if they're small things, some of the negative things just kind of disappear.
Right.
You know, if you fix one thing at a time and then move forward, fix another thing, then you know what, life's better. And then it's so good that some of these other things that are negative or controversial don't even matter anymore. So that's what I'm saying. Let's all get along and move forward and make America a better place. All right.
Thanks, Rob.
God bless you. Nice to meet you.
God bless you too.
During our interview, Rob Cortis mentioned several issues Americans can unite behind: jobs, infrastructure, and education, to name a few. However, the devil is in the details. How can Americans exactly unite behind these issues when they're each very complex in their own right? Let's take another issue: immigration. 74% of Americans believe children who immigrated to the United States illegally as children should be allowed to find a path to permanent citizenship. What does Rob Cortis say about this? On his website and on the Trump Unity Bridge, there's not a mention of this topic where Americans seem to be more unified. There's a meaningful path to action. The DREAM Act has already been written, but it's never been passed. What is Rob's stance on this topic? We don't know. All we know is what Rob does show us. We need to build the wall. It's written on the Trump Unity Bridge. It's also written on his website. While that is a real and important issue to people on the right, it's not something that unifies people with one another or endears them to Trump if they're not already a loyal supporter. So while I'm excited by Rob's message to communicate and work together, I'm dismayed that after 7 years serving hundreds or maybe even thousands of people through his journey across America, that there aren't any concrete, specific actions that he's interested in taking. Even when given the opportunity, he isn't able to articulate any. I will be following up with Rob to see if he has more specific policy actions and political actions that he thinks Americans can unite behind. Because as it stands now, the Trump Unity Bridge only unifies Trump supporters. It doesn't unify Americans. If Cortis really does want to unify the people, I'd like to help. Otherwise, the unification he speaks of doesn't exist. And the bridge he's created is a bridge to nowhere.